All right, let's hear from some folks in the audience via the David Pakman Show Discord, which you can find at davidpakman.com/Discord. Let's start today with James from New York. Is this James MD from New York? Are you a doctor? Oh boy. James,
Oh, yeah.
how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah. So I called in before sort of asking about why it seems like this whole government seems to be missing the forest for the trees. I thought you gave a great answer. I have a question for you about it seems like Biden is just sort of entering the game, trying to play, let's be friends with everybody, let's show unity, almost like letting the Republicans sort of like undercut his positions, give less for COVID, not do basically the best for the American, person. And why doesn't Biden just ram all of these things down their throats to basically get the general public to be like, wow, my health insurance is better. My food is better and cheaper. I actually did get money under Biden. Why does he seem to want to compromise on all this stuff to pretend like there's unity when the Republicans are in power? They put all the Supreme Court justices on and say, tough break, you lost the election.
Well, I think we still need a little more time to know which path he's taking. You're completely right that Joe Biden has been talking about unity. He invited Republicans to the White House to meet about the COVID bill on Monday night. I am fine with Biden talking about unity and talking to Republicans if, as you say, in the end, he just goes forward. And from what we heard after that Monday meeting from Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, Democrats are just planning to move ahead with the COVID relief bill as designed with the 1.9 trillion. I believe it's actually perfect if Biden eventually is just going to say, we're sticking with the 1.9 and it's what Democrats go for. Put these Republicans in a position to actually vote no on it, because that COVID relief bill is popular with many Republican voters, tens of millions of Republican voters. I don't believe, call the bluff of the Republicans. I don't believe that every Republican is going to vote against the 1.9 trillion because they know many of their constituents want that and they like that bill. So if what Joe Biden does is talk about unity, talk about compromise, meet with Republicans, and then not go forward with the 1.9, I will be as pissed as it sounds like you're going to be. If this is all just Biden doing what he said he would do, but then he's still going to stick to what he wants, I'm fine with it. We'll probably know in the next few days which of the two it's going to be.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. I would rather he could play the let's have unity together, but I just think he needs to ram these policies down their throats to show the average American, especially, it seems like the biggest class that's voting conservative these days is uneducated voters, that just to show them, here's the proof in the pudding. Here's your money. Here's your health.
I gotcha. Yeah, I don't disagree. Let's see if he does it. James from New York, appreciate the call. Thank you so much. Let's go next to Terrence from Gloucester. Terrence from Gloucester, you're on the air.
Hi, David. How's it going? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
So I don't know if you remember me, but we spoke a couple of months ago when I called in under the single letter pseudonym T to talk about the Decent Federalism Project, which was my project on Twitter at Decent Fed PROJ to advocate for distributing some power currently held by the federal government down to a 5-part framework of regions of the U.S. I know you take a lot of calls, but do you roughly remember our conversation or anything we talked about?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So the YouTube video on your channel, I think, is called Should the Country Be Divided into Regions? And I think it's still a worthy video for people to check out. But so I remember from our conversation, and correct me if I'm wrong, I understood you as having said towards the end of our discussion that you were open, at least in principle, to a more regional approach to governance in the United States. Does that sound like a fair characterization of what you said?
I don't remember exactly, but did you have a question today?
Yeah, so I guess my big question is whether you see the events of like recent days, recent months, as affirming or complicating the idea of regionalizing our system of governance in the way we've discussed before, in terms of the Stop the Steal, the 17 state attorneys general from the south and central parts of the country that basically wanted to overturn the election, as well as sort of the coalition that Joe Biden built to win the election.
I have to tell you, I don't think the events of the last few months, to me, suggest that regionalization for governance would be better or worse. I don't think it really strikes me as something to think about in those terms, one way or the other.
Okay, fair enough. That was really my only question, David.
All right, very good. Terrence from Gloucester, great to hear from you again. What if you could read 10 books in just one sitting? That's exactly what one of my favorite apps lets you do. It's called Blinkist, and what they do is take thousands of popular nonfiction books. They condense them down into text or audio that you can consume in 15 minutes. Blinkist makes sure that you're getting all of the important core insights from each book. So it's perfect for exploring a book you otherwise wouldn't have time for. If there's a full book you're thinking about buying, you can use Blinkist to get a sample first. Just think how much you can enrich yourself by being able to soak up an entire nonfiction book in just 15 minutes. I recently checked out the book Podcast Marketing Strategy by Daniel Rolls and Kieran Rogers, and so useful, so particularly applicable to what I'm doing. Really recommend it. Blinkist has books on politics, philosophy, science. They have 27 different nonfiction categories, and a subscription is only about $8 a month, and you get the entire library. But you can try it totally free and get 25% off a subscription when you go to Blinkist.com/Pakman. I've put the link right underneath this video.